Welcome to CinemaBites, your go-to for movie recaps in a flash. Big twists, epic moments, all in just minutes. The movie begins in America, which is devastated due to the spread of a disease that turned people into zombies. We have a friend, by the way, who has managed to avoid infection so far. Among them is Columbus, who prefers moving from place to avoid infection and the end of the world that has occurred. He sets rules for himself to avoid any infection or general dangers from zombies, such as he must shoot zombies twice, not just once, to make sure they're dead. He also always has to be very fast to be able to run, and there's literally not much left of the world. He heads west and suddenly encounters a car with someone still alive named Tallahassee. The two pointed their weapons at each other because they weren't very trusting, having not seen another living person in a long time. But they lowered their weapons, and Columbus asked Tallahassee to give him a ride. Tallahassee agreed. While riding with Tallahassee, Columbus noticed he was very violent, but despite that, he had a quirky personality and could do anything to get a Twinkie snack. In general, they continued traveling together and started sharing their stories. We go back in time to Columbus's story. He had a family, but they didn't always check on him, so he decided to live alone with no relationships. Then the disease struck, and he didn't know anything about it until his neighbor, whom he loved very much, came to him. But the girl got infected and turned into a zombie, forcing him to kill her himself. After understanding everything about the disease and the end of the world, he decided to travel west to the city where his family lived, hoping to find them still alive. As for Tallahassee, he lived in his house with his young son and his dog. He became deeply attached to his son, and after losing him, he became determined to survive and fight zombies. Later, Tallahassee found a musical instrument and started playing it to lure all the zombies in the mall to him, so he could kill them all at once and move around freely. Indeed, that's what happened. A group of zombies with strange appearances came, and he started killing them, left and right, until he finished them all. After that, he walked around the place calmly. Then Columbus and Tallahassee encountered a girl named Wichita asking for help. They went to see what was wrong and found out that her sister, Little Rock, had been bitten by a zombie and needed to be killed before she turned. But Wichita couldn't bring herself to kill her sister and wanted someone else to do it. At that moment, Tallahassee raised his gun to kill her. But Wichita stopped him, saying she wanted to do it herself so her sister wouldn't suffer. She took his gun, but suddenly turned it on him and Columbus, revealing that Little Rock was fine and it was all a trick to rob them. They took everything, including their car, and left. Tallahassee was very angry about how they managed to trick and rob him, but eventually he and Columbus left the mall and didn't find anything else of interest. They kept walking around until they found a better car filled with weapons. They took it and continued their journey without a care. However, along the way, they found the girl's car parked, out of gas. Tallahassee got out to check if it was a trap, but it was empty. When he returned, Little Rock was holding Columbus at gunpoint. At that moment, Tallahassee was determined not to lose this car too, so he raised his weapon, and the girls did the same. The situation escalated, but Columbus managed to convince everyone to travel together in the same car, reluctantly agreeing. As they traveled, they talked about where each wanted to go. Wichita said she wanted to go to Pacific Playland to let her sister enjoy her childhood a little. Columbus said he wanted to go to Los Angeles to find his family, hoping they were still alive. But Wichita told him the city he was looking for had been bombed by the military in an attempt to contain the crisis, which failed, leaving the city in ruins. Columbus was very upset and walked silently for a while. Later, they stopped at a souvenir shop to rest. The place was empty but filled with beautiful items, so they started smashing things for fun. Afterward, they continued their journey until they reached Hollywood, the city where many American actors lived before the apocalypse. Tallahassee decided to take them to the house of his favorite actor, Bill Murray. They entered his luxurious house, which was beautifully furnished. They explored the place to see if anyone was still alive. Tallahassee went with Wichita, while Columbus and Little Rock went another way. Columbus and Little Rock found a small home theater and started watching a movie, enjoying themselves. They continued exploring the house and admiring Bill Murray's belongings. Suddenly, a zombie appeared and attacked them, but at the last moment, they discovered it was Bill Murray in disguise. He had dressed like that, hoping zombies would leave him alone. Tallahassee was thrilled to meet his favorite actor and talk to him a lot. In the end, they decided to prank Columbus by having Murray pretend to be a zombie. But when Murray approached Columbus looking like a zombie, Columbus panicked and shot him, killing him. Of course, everyone was shocked, but no one cared much. They wrapped him in a shroud and threw him from the balcony. Honestly, I admire how much they respect the dead. So some of them went back inside the house, gathered, and started talking. 3 of them told the story of his son and how he died. Afterward, he wiped his tears with a wad of dollars that were in front of him because, honestly, there were no tissues around. They continued living in that place for a while, happy with their lives, wiping tears with the dollars in front of them because there were no tissues. They stayed there, enjoying their beautiful lives with nothing on their minds. During this period, by the way, Tallahassee was teaching Rock how to shoot and began to see her as his own daughter. As for Columbus and Wichita, they started to genuinely fall in love. One day, Columbus confessed his love to her, but she didn't respond and just smiled awkwardly. The next day, when everyone woke up, they found out she had taken Rock in the car and escaped. The reason was clear and straightforward. She didn't want to get attached to anyone and then lose them in this cruel world. Getting used to someone and then losing them in this world had become a normal occurrence. Wichita, my friend, took her sister and went to an amusement park as they had planned. When they got there, they saw the lights and started playing on the rides, having a lot of fun. It's not every day you get to go to an amusement park at the end of the world, but the sound of the park was loud, my friend, and it attracted zombies from all directions. At that moment, they tried to get in the car and escape, but there were too many zombies. They had to climb the tallest ride in the park to hide there. They did that, but the zombies still managed to reach them. The only solution now was to destroy the ride's mechanism so they could stay safely at the top, away from the zombies, and prevent the ride from lowering them back to the ground. They did that, but now they couldn't figure out how to escape. They were stuck there just like that. Meanwhile, Columbus was very upset about Wichita's actions because he genuinely loved her. So he decided to part ways with Tallahassee and go back to find them at the park because he was sure they had gone there. But Tallahassee, seeing that Columbus was kind and probably wouldn't make it alone, decided to go with him. They went back together, and thankfully they arrived quickly. When they got there, they found the girls stuck on the ride with zombies surrounding them, unable to escape. Tallahassee decided to execute his famous plan. He grabbed a metal rod, turned on the music at full blast to attract the zombies towards him, and started killing them left and right. Meanwhile, Columbus went to rescue the girls. Indeed, Tallahassee executed his plan and kept killing zombies impressively, while Columbus activated the emergency button on the ride and brought the girls down. By then, Tallahassee had killed all the zombies in the area. They all roamed around freely, feeling safe now that there were no zombies left, until suddenly they noticed that Columbus, Tallahassee, Wichita, and her sister had disappeared along with the car. They thought she had tricked them again and escaped, but suddenly, she came back with the car and even brought Tallahassee some Twinkies she had finally found. Tallahassee was overjoyed and thanked her profusely. They all continued their journey together, vowing never to separate again. After a long time, my friend, they all settled in the White House, deciding to live a luxurious life there. During this long period, Rock had grown up and was no longer a child. Meanwhile, new breeds of zombies had emerged and evolved. There was a type called Homer, which was very stupid and not scary at all. But there was another smarter type called Zack, which was slightly more dangerous. Then there was the toughest type, Terminator, which was extremely deadly. Despite everything, Tallahassee treated Rock like his own daughter, training her daily to become stronger. But she grew tired of it because she wanted someone her age to talk to. Yes, she had grown up, but she was still much younger than everyone else living with her. One day, Columbus proposed to Wichita with a ring that belonged to the former First Lady in the White House, but she refused because she had issues with marriage due to her parents' separation in the past. She left Columbus and went to sleep. The next day, Columbus and Tallahassee woke up to find that she had taken her sister and the car and escaped. Again, this time, Tallahassee and Columbus didn't go after her because they had no idea where she had gone. A whole month passed. Wichita and her sister were gone during this time. Meanwhile, Columbus and Tallahassee would go out every day, roaming the streets and killing zombies, only to return to the White House at night. That became their daily routine. One day, they were at a mall and found a girl named Maddie. Unfortunately, she was incredibly annoying and spoke in a very irritating way. She seemed self-centered and overly confident, yet oddly helpless and in need of help. They decided to take her with them to the White House. Tallahassee didn't like her at all, so Columbus took it upon himself to show her around the place. While exploring, Maddie came across the ring Columbus had planned to propose to Wichita with, and kept it, not knowing its significance. At night, everyone went to sleep. But soon after, Tallahassee and Columbus heard noises coming from the garage. They found Wichita, who had finally returned. She told them she had come back to take weapons and ammunition and would leave them alone again. Tallahassee and Columbus were shocked and confused. Wichita confessed the truth. Her sister had run away with a random guy she met on the road. He didn't have weapons or anything to protect her. So, Wichita came back to get weapons to find Rock, as she knew her sister wasn't safe without her. When Tallahassee and Columbus learned that Rock was in danger, they decided to join Wichita in the morning to search for her. She saw Maddie and thought that Columbus would leave her in the morning to search for Rock, and at that moment, Wichita saw Maddie and thought that Columbus would leave her quickly, especially after seeing her ring. Maddie was there, but in general, she didn't speak and accepted the situation. Indeed, the next day, everyone got ready and went out to search for Rock. Maddie also joined everyone because Columbus wanted her to. They all walked down the road for a while until they came across an air-conditioned bus. They decided to take it because it would be a much easier and better means of transportation. However, there were zombies around. They kept fighting them left and right, including a Terminator-type zombie. Tallahassee kept fighting it until it finally died after a long struggle. After that battle, they all got on the bus, but the bus's tire blew out, so they were forced to return to their original car and continue their journey reluctantly. At that time, Wichita and Maddie were sitting and eating snacks, but suddenly, Maddie started throwing up as if she was about to turn into a zombie. Everyone felt at that moment that she must have been bitten without anyone noticing, or somehow got infected. Now, she was about to turn into a zombie. At that moment, Tallahassee and the others decided she had to die. Columbus, despite himself, agreed and decided to do it himself. He took her outside, and we heard a gunshot afterward, but I don't think he killed her. However, he claimed he did, got back in the car and continued the journey sadly. After a while, they all arrived at a hotel. When they entered, they found many pictures and belongings of a legendary singer. They continued exploring the hotel until they met the owner, Nevada. Everyone asked her about Rock and the guy with her, wondering if they had passed through here. She confirmed that 2 people matching their description had been there a few days ago and mentioned they were heading to a place called Babylon. She explained that Babylon is a place where weapons are forbidden, surrounded by walls, and many people live there happily. After hearing this, Tallahassee, Columbus, and Wichita decided to stay at the hotel for the night and head to Babylon the next day. That's what happened. While everyone was sleeping, Tallahassee stayed up talking to Nevada about his love for the legendary singer, whom she also admired. They seemed to develop feelings for each other. The next morning, as they were preparing to leave, 2 people arrived at the hotel who looked exactly like Tallahassee and Columbus, down to their personalities. One tough and the other soft-spoken with strict rules. Tallahassee wasn't thrilled about this and argued a lot about it. Suddenly, a group of zombies attacked and destroyed the newcomer's car. The 2 strangers fought the zombies but were bitten and quickly turned into zombies themselves. They attacked Tallahassee and Columbus, who struggled to fight them off. In the end, they managed to kill them. Tallahassee asked Nevada to come with them because he had truly fallen for her, but she insisted on staying because the hotel was her home. Respecting her decision, Tallahassee left with the group and continued toward Babylon to find Rock. On the way, they saw a car driving alongside them. Upon closer inspection, they realized it was Maddie, still alive and not turned into a zombie. Columbus had not killed her, but lied to everyone. Maddie forgave them and explained that her strange behavior earlier was due to an almond allergy, nothing more. Everyone was relieved and took her along as they continued the journey. Eventually, they reached Babylon, where they had to surrender their weapons before entering. Inside, they found Rock, who was thrilled to see them and hugged everyone. She refused to leave Babylon, saying she preferred the peaceful life there. The group decided to stay with her, except for Tallahassee, who chose to continue his journey alone. As Tallahassee was leaving, he saw a massive horde of zombies heading toward Babylon. Attracted by the lights and sounds, he rushed back to warn everyone. They were terrified but had no choice but to come up with a plan. They decided to use gasoline to create a trap. When the zombies arrived, they lured them into the trap and set it on fire, killing many of them. However, a large number of zombies remained. The group retreated to a high place but were still in danger. Suddenly, Nevada appeared in a giant vehicle, driving through the zombies and killing them. She picked up the group, and they joined her inside the vehicle. She continued running over zombies until the vehicle flipped over. They quickly rescued Nevada and retreated to Babylon's tower. The zombies kept chasing them until they reached the rooftop. At that moment, Tallahassee decided to sacrifice himself to save everyone. He ran to the edge of the roof and jumped, causing the zombies to follow him and fall to their deaths. However, Tallahassee survived by grabbing onto a rope. 2 zombies clung to his legs, but Rock used a gun Tallahassee had given her earlier and shot them, saving him. With the danger over, everyone was happy and relieved. In this joyful moment, Wichita confessed her love to Columbus and agreed to marry him. And so she realized at that moment that the ring she had was his, so she returned it to him. And that's it, she decided, along with Hassey, Nevada, Columbus, Wichita, and Rock, to leave that place entirely and continue their adventures together elsewhere. And that's the movie.